Welcome back to another episode of the MMA Pulse podcast with myself, Alex Honan, and Kyle Carpenter. We did an interview with AJ McKee in Bellator, the PFL affiliate now, and it was great talking to him. He gave us some cool insight on what he's got going on right now, what he hopes for the future, and we hope you guys enjoy listening to that. Kyle, anything you want to say real quick?
Yeah, I'm right with you. It was great speaking to AJ. Really interesting guy, really great fighter, really.
Yeah.
He was the featherweight champion, moved up to lightweight. Just listen to the interview. He had some great insight and thoughts on the state of Bellator and PFL right now after the merger. And it was great to hear his mindset moving forward with fights and where he's at. So, yeah, give it a listen. Here we go. We're going to go into it in a second. And I hope you enjoy.
Alrighty. Well, one, we want to thank you for being here. You're actually our first interview that we've ever done. So we really appreciate that. This is like a real honor. You're an awesome fighter, and it's always been fun to watch you fight. Anything you want to say, Kyle?
Yeah, no, I just want to thank you so much for being here. It's a
great
privilege. All right, Alex, you want to get started?
Yeah, sure. First thing I want to say was congrats on going to your first ESPYS. That must have been pretty cool. Was there anything like that stood out when you were there besides seeing like all the other professional athletes who tend to attend there every year? That sounded like it must have been cool.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. I'd never been to the ESPYS, and just knowing it's like the award ceremony for all the athletes around the world. It was an honor to go. It was an honor to see like what they do. And then I think the most surreal part for me is like sitting there looking at Serena Williams and Lil Wayne. I was like, yo, fanboy all the way. You know what I mean? Like Lil Wayne's down there. I didn't even get to like really see him, but I was like, I know that head, So I wasn't too familiar with too many people there. I'm just kind of one of those athletes that stays in his lane and continues to try to just be better and do better in his realm and his world. So yeah, I felt a little out of place because I didn't know anybody. And then my best friend that I brought, he's like, yo, that's what was the football player? You see what I mean? Like, I just don't know. It was one of the football players, quarterback, really good. And he's like, bro, you don't know who that is? And I'm like, no, bro, like, my bad. Like, I know his name, but I couldn't put a face with it. So it was just an awesome experience, though.
Yeah, I think I just watched that interview real quick that they had with you on the red carpet, and I think it was Cam Newton, who always dresses like absolutely crazy. So must have been kind of funny and cool to see him like in person in one of those crazy outfits. He always got the crazy hats.
Yeah.
Kyle, you want to move on next?
Yeah, I just want to say first, that outfit you had on at the ESPYS was fly, man. It was cool to see that. But yeah, I just wanted to move on. I wanted to get your thoughts on the merger with Bellator and PFL. I know it's been some time. It's probably settled in a little bit. So what have you thought, and how has it been for you so far?
It's awesome. They're doing something different. PFL is more of like a season type thing where, you're set to 4 fights a year. You're going through a season. It's kind of a tournament style type thing. And the winner comes out a champion with $1 million. So that's always awesome. That's awesome. Accolade. That's just cool to try to achieve something in that manner. Bellator's still doing their shows, which is kind of awesome as well. So, like I've always said, man, it's 2024. I need another belt strapped around my waist. So, I fought once this year. Hopefully we get another one in before the year ends, and wherever it may be, whether it's PFL or Bellator, I'm looking forward to getting a belt wrapped around my waist. That's kind of what I work so hard for, is to collect belts. Not really. I work my ass off to get paid, but at the same time, I want to collect belts. You know what I mean? That's the trophy. That's kind of what every fighter wants to be, is labeled as the best in the world. And yeah.
That's awesome. It really is. And are you eyeing that? Are you staying up at lightweight, or will you be moving back down to featherweight?
I'm not sure. For the right fights, I'll move down to 145 pounds. There was a couple potential fights that we were talking about at 155 pounds, 145 pounds. It all varies, you know what I mean? It depends who the fight is, what the achievement's going to be. You know, I'm not going to cut to 145 pounds if there's no title on the line. There's just no point. I'm having fun. I'm doing fine up here with the big boys at 155, you know, and yeah, it's a little bit harder to move them around, but it's still easy, you know. I feel like my skill set shows that. No matter where the fight goes, you're gonna have a fight on your hands.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a minute and 10 seconds in that last one, it doesn't sound too hard for you. Alex,
Uh,
you got one?
yeah, I actually want to trail on that a little bit. There's a lot of good talent in the 155-pound division. Were you thinking of staying on like more of the Bellator Champion Series? Because I know they do have a few events later in the year that still don't have really anything booked on them. I think one of them's in Chicago and one's in Paris, something like that. And I know the PFL series, the season there is also carrying on a little bit. I think there's an event this weekend too. Were you looking to be more a part of the PFL season or the Champion Series in Bellator?
It doesn't really matter, you know, to me. That's just the mercenary style. You call me, you tell me where to go, and I'm gonna just go do my thing and get the job done and come home. Whether it's PFL, whether it's Bellator, you know, for me, a cage is a cage. I just got to go in there and do my job, you know. All the labels and the sponsors that are on there, like it's all great, but once punches get going, all that goes out the window. So for me, you know, I'd like to have another Bellator belt. I definitely want a PFL belt. It's just I don't know. We got to wait and see what happens. I know these guys with the PFL tournament, you know, they're doing the tournament, you know what I mean? So they can't really focus on anything outside of that. But Bellator, they had a really thick and big 155-pound roster. They were in the process of doing that 55-pound tournament, and a lot of things came up. I caught staff, someone tested for something. So the tournament just kind of fell through. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but the 55-pound division from Bellator's roster has just been kind of on ice since then. Where PFL, they're still cranking fights out, you know what I mean? So maybe we'll see something at the end of the year like they did last year, and it's a champs versus champs or a just super fight in general. Just all the best of the best on a really big card. I don't really know, but I'm just waiting for the phone call. You know, I'm staying ready so I don't got to get ready.
All right, yeah, and a quick follow-up. Speaking of the lightweight title, Usman Nurmagomedov will be defending that in September, I believe, in San Diego, which still on the West Coast by you. I know it's pretty south, but I think so are you. We're Long Beach, New York, actually, just so you know. So we kind of share that in common a little bit. But do you think you'll be in attendance to see that fight that night?
I don't know. Maybe. It's a nice drive. I like that drive. So anything to be able to get in my car and go drive down the freeway, I'm willing to do. I was actually asking to get on that card, but it was already booked up. So I feel like anything in California, my name should be all on it, all over it.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree on that. Kyle,
Yeah.
you want to follow up?
Yeah. So I like your chances in the lightweight division with Usman. And let's say you go out there and you get the lightweight belt in Bellator, then you're, featherweight champ, you're a lightweight champ. What would your where would you want to go after that? Like you're a two-division champ in Bellator. Are your eyes set on the UFC at some point? I know in the past you said when you were down at 145, you like your chances with Volkanovski. If you stay up at 155, what do you think about the UFC in your future or another, I guess, PFL if you get the Bellator belt as well?
You know, it's like any king in war, you know, you conquer one man's land and then you're off to the next and you're looking for more land to conquer. So being the 145-pound champ, obviously I'm looking to gain that 155-pound title. I've been saying it for years that I want to be a champ. So the possibilities are there. It's just a matter of being able to do it, seeing and having the people that are around you see that you're capable of doing it. I think I've proved myself at 155 pounds to where now it's like, all right, let's see. That tournament was perfect. It's just sad that things fell through and we weren't able to continue on with it. But I got two Bellator belts, so now I'm like, that PFL belt looks a little nice. So I'd like to have a belt in every organization, you know what I mean? Show I'm the best of the best all around the world. It doesn't matter where I am, what's going on. So PFL is it right now, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm looking to gain this title, and maybe when the season's over and the tournament's over for these guys, we can put a super fight together, like I said they did, the champs versus champs, and bring me on something big.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll do that at some point. And I'm all in at that fight. That's interesting, man.
Yeah. Speaking of some of that, so with the way that the PFL does the like 4 fights in the season, I mean, based off of like how a lot of fighters, like a lot of time they fight twice, 3 times a year sometimes. Not everyone does that, but I've always been curious, like, does that sound a little taxing, on the body over time, if you go in there and say you do have one of those really rough fights, recovery and stuff like that, like, do you have like any plans for how you may have to deal with something like that? I mean, you don't always take a whole lot of damage in any of your fights, as far as I've seen, besides, maybe a few cuts and stuff like that. But does that process ever cross your mind of the recovery portion of the 4 fights a season?
Um, yeah, no, I train my ass off so the fights are easy. So, I'm in the gym every day. Even now, I'm in the gym every day. Nothing lined up. Fresh off knee surgery in the gym. It doesn't matter what's going on in life, I continue to prevail and do better and try to be better. That's that Mamba, that Kobe Bryant mentality. And that's where I feel I set myself aside from all these other fighters. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. I'm in that gym. I'm gonna continue to do better, be better, no matter where I'm at, no matter what's going on. And time will tell.
Love to hear that. I like that mindset on it. Because as an outsider, I mean, 4 fights sounds terrifying in a year like that. But like as a fan, you want to see that. You want to see your favorite fighters fight 4 times a year. It's like every
Yeah,
other sport.
I think 4 fights that's ideal. I've done 3. I think I've done 4 maybe once, and I loved it. I was just racking wins up back to back to back. So for a fighter like myself, I think it's ideal. One, because I finish people fast, and if I don't finish them, I'm really not taking a lot of damage. There have been a few occasions we've seen me take some damage, but circumstances of my lifestyle were the reason why I was taking damage like that. So getting older, growing up a bit, crossing your T's and your I's, making them bold is it's the way, you just put it together and you make sure it's put together properly.
Yeah, you love to hear that. It sucks that we don't get to see a lot more fighters, with the mindset of I want to fight that many times a year. And I'm sure like being active more often probably helps you out to an extent. It doesn't give your body that like downtime sometimes to like age a little bit. If you kind of stay active and stay busy, I'm sure you can, continue to excel even you're already at a high level. I mean, taking it higher would be insane. Um,
Yeah,
I think you're
that's why I
definitely
try to
collecting belts then.
yeah, that's why I try to stay in the gym, but it's like, I'm always active in the gym, but there is a thing called cage rust, and if you haven't been in that cage, it's a little bit different than being in the gym. So I think activity is definitely a key. How active can you be um in the cage? Obviously outside of the cage, I'm active as hell. I'm nonstop doing this, doing that, always in the gym twice a day, Monday through Saturday. So that's not really the issue. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we get another one in here in the near future.
Awesome. Awesome. Kyle, you got anything else you want to say?
Um, no, I'm good. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, AJ. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was awesome. We really appreciate it.
No, anytime. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Anytime. We hope to stay in touch.
Most definitely. All right. Have a good one, guys. Appreciate
You
it.
too.
All right. Thank you. You too.